Hey loves, welcome back to another juicy episode of my channel. My name is Jane Lawrence, aka Juicy Jane, and I come with a lot of juice to spill. Get comfortable and subscribe, hit the notification bell to be the first to get my videos when I post. Today I will be speaking on period sex. Is it safe to have it? Are there risks to having period sex? Are there tips to having it? Is there benefits to having it? What about the side effects of engaging in it? All of these and more I will touch on, so let's get right into it, shall we? Now welcome back, grab a cup of coffee and let's ride. Now, can you have sex on your period? The short answer is yes. Having penetrative and non-penetrative intercourse while menstruating is totally fine as long as you're comfortable and in the mood. Look, for centuries, right, women have struggled with the shame surrounding both their sensuality and menstruation, but there is no biological reason to feel bad about either of these things together or separately. In fact, there are many mental and physical health benefits to engaging in period sex if you and your partner are comfortable with it. Now, the biggest deterrent has long been, the mess and embarrassment, but there are however many ways to deal with menstrual blood and also many reasons for you and your partner to embrace it. Now, from my research, there are benefits to having period sex, especially for women. Yes, you heard right. There are real benefits to having intercourse while you're menstruating. Now, the biggest one, of course, is pleasure and body positivity. So if you're in a mood and you're not afraid of the mess, here is what you should consider. Sex during period means extra lubrication, and that's the biggest benefit because penetrative intercourse is actually easier for both parties during this, especially if the woman on a normal day finds it really hard to lubricate or finds it really hard to get wet. So some people cite menstrual fluid as, a great and an all natural replacement for traditional lubricants. So don't be Victorian about it, because menstrual fluid is organic and more or less it gives you that perfect consistency to get on with your partner. And women, are you aware that having sex on your period can possibly relieve menstrual cramps? Are you aware? I tell you, cramps are one of the worst menstrual symptoms that we ladies have to deal with. Luckily, period sex can help with that. Of course, we know that menstrual cramps are as a result of uterus contracting to release its lining, and when you have orgasm, the muscles of the uterus also contract, then they release. That release should bring some relief from menstrual cramp, because it's scientifically proven that vaginal stimulation affects the neuron in the brain that elevates a woman's pain threshold. And this, of course, is according to research. And so penetrative stimulation can reduce menstrual pain, and it's much more fun than popping a few pain reliever. Do you get? And then again, sex during your period can shorten the time frame of your flow, because the muscle contractions during an orgasm pushes out the uterine content faster, and that could result in, shorter period. It also increases sex drive. Your libido changes throughout your menstrual cycle thanks to the hormonal fluctuation. While I have heard many women say that their sex drive increases during ovulation, which is about 2 weeks before your period, others report feeling more turned on during your period. Like for me, during ovulation, I get the most horniest. So it also means that intercourse during this time can help you get rid of that headache. Although most women with menstrual migraines will avoid sex during their attacks, but many of those who have engaged in sexual activity say that sex partially or completely relieved them of that headache. Do you get what I mean? But then again, the biggest downside to having sex during your period is the mess. Blood can get on you, your partner, and the sheet, especially if you have a heavy flow. Aside from, staining your bed sheets, bleeding may make you feel self-conscious. And so that anxiety over making a mess can take some or all of the fun out of sex. Another worry about having sex during your period is the risk of passing on a sexually transmitted infection like HIV or hepatitis. These viruses live in the blood and they can spread through contact with infected menstrual period. So using condoms every time you have sex can reduce your risk of spreading or catching that STD. So now, if you plan on having sex during your period and you're wearing a tampon, you would have to remove it beforehand, because a forgotten tampon can get pushed so far into your vagina during sex, and that can be, that can need you to see a doctor to have it removed. So yeah, that's sort of awkward. All right, don't forget your tampons if you have to have sex on your period. Now, do you get pregnant when you have period sex? Now, if you aren't actively trying to conceive, using protection is a good idea. No matter what part of menstrual cycle you're in, your odds of conceiving are lower during your period, but it's still possible to become pregnant at this time. And also consider that sperm can stay alive in your body for up to 7 days. So if you have a 22-day cycle and you ovulate soon after, getting your period, there is a chance you will be releasing an egg while sperms are still inside your reproductive tract. Okay? So you're not totally free. Do you get what I mean? Now, here are tips to make period sex more comfortable and less messy experience for you and your partner. Be open. First and foremost, be open and honest with your partner. Tell them how you feel about having sex during your period and ask how they feel about it too. And if either of you is hesitant, then you could talk about the reason behind that discomfort. But if you want to start and you have a tampon, please remove it before you start fooling around. All right? Now, spread a dark colored towel on the bed to catch any blood leak, or preferably you could just have sex in the shower or bath to avoid any messy scenario. And then you can keep a wet washcloth or wet wipes by the bed to clean up afterwards. Now, have your partner wear a latex condom. It will protect you against, pregnancy and STIs. And if your usual sexual position is uncomfortable, you could try something different. For example, you may want to try lying on your side with your partner behind you in a spooning position. All right, so to this end, please don't let your period put a halt to your sex life, because if you do a little prep work, sex can be just as enjoyable during those 5 days or maybe 3 days as it is during the rest of the other days. And of course, you might be surprised to find out that sex is even more exciting during your period. So try it out if you can, but if you can't, no problem. Until next time, keep living the fab life. Watch my ads every time it comes on, all right?